Before anyone else keeps lying about me, before I was 21 years of age, I had worked in 3 restaurants. I started working in restaurants to pay for my art and design TAFE college courses because art and design in the 90s was expensive. I worked for Cafe Yanis. I worked for the Workshop, so Cafe Yanis being a Greek restaurant. The Workshop Cafe at the Powerhouse being, that's a European restaurant, European inspired. Monty's Silver Service restaurant at the Powerhouse Hotel by Ridges again. Monty's was like a very French, so it was French cuisine. Okay, European, French, and Greek. So Italian, French, and Greek. I worked in 3 restaurants. Okay, 3 restaurants before I was even 20 years of age. Then I was a sommelier at the Powerhouse Hotel. So when you walk into the Powerhouse Hotel, past reception, you're past reception on the right-hand side. You walk through as you go into the kitchen, to the Workshop Cafe. You walk past the wine cellar. I was a sommelier. And then when you keep going to the right-hand side and you've got the Cole Bunker Bar, I worked in the Martini Lounge as well. All this before I was 20, I started there at 19 years of age. Then when I was 20 years of age, I went to the Gazebo Hotel, which ended up being the Carlton in Church Street, Parramatta. All restaurant, bar work. Okay. Functions, I started doing, so when I started doing hosting events, so I started out in restaurants and bars and wine, which is why I know a lot with restaurant, bar and wine. Then I moved into the function side of things, into hosting. Okay. Caroline Wright got me to host Ladies at Luncheon, so do all the big events, which meant before the end of the year with the Millennium Ball, I was one of the hosts for the Millennium Ball Idols and Icons. Then I went and worked in the bar, the Martini Bar there at the Gazebo Hotel, but I'd already done hosting events. When I applied for the host position in the year 2000 at Star Casino, I used my hosting experience at the Powerhouse Hotel and the functions. So the Powerhouse Hotel has 2 huge function rooms. I worked in functions there as well. Hosting, okay, I started hosting events when I was 19 at the Powerhouse. Hosting the Ladies at Lunch, and basically before I finished there was times where Caroline Wright would be like, just let Justin fluff. Let him fluff around, he's bringing in business. Okay, sitting in with Lady Grace, yes I did. Lady Grace, the granddaughter of the founder of Grace Brothers, owned a thoroughbred stud not far from my mother's in New England. I'm there and I'm sitting down, so she's at the breakfast buffet Monty's, in the breakfast lounge in Monty's. I sit down with her and start talking about the horses because Mum was off doing one of the horse events and she wanted to know where to bet. She was going on a trail ride. And I said, I'll ride where Amanda and I used to take the thoroughbreds. I gave her the description of where we used to ride around from out past Loomba and around New England on the back roads. And I'm sitting down next to me. Wayne Buns walks past and he's like, what's Justin doing? And Caroline's like, leave him alone. He's talking to Lady Grace about thoroughbreds because I grew up with thoroughbreds. That's my mother there. And her thoroughbred. I grew up with thoroughbreds and so did Lady Grace. So I sat down with her, and so by the end, before I left the hotel working, my job was to come into work and sit down with the patrons. I was getting paid to just socialise at the Powerhouse. That's all Caroline wanted me for. Sit down and socialise because the family I come from, she wanted that. Meaning not the family. My God, Mum came in once for, spaghetti marinara, and Caroline Wright walked past my mother and said, oh, Carol, it's lovely you could drag yourself away from the horses. Mum's like, that's it. It's like, shut up, Mum. She didn't mean anything by it. You're taking it to heart. We all say it's glad, oh, you made an appearance, Carol. You can drag yourself away from the horses. We all say it. Okay. Now, did I do this right? I'm doing it from memory. I think I need more water in it. Well, after all, creme brulee is just baked custard. Really, when you think of it. I've done a lime creme brulee for dessert this week. Now, this is ridiculous, isn't it? The shit that I've heard since 2009, isn't it bullshit? Obviously, no one knows a goddamn fucking thing about me. I started hosting events when I was 19. And, well, it was my upbringing. I lived in a large house growing up where we always entertained. Like as a kid, I used to take trays around. Mum was a paralegal. You know, I was always social. I'm sick of the rubbish. You know what? I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of the bullshit I've heard. I'm sick of everything since I fucking met Giovanni Consalvo. To be quite honest, I'm fucking sick of this little cunt. I'm sick and tired of every fucking person I've met since August 2001. There you go. I'm sick and fucking tired of the bullshit.